Good morning, students. In the last class we have started discussing the tool design topic. The first topic in this tool design is to study about the cutting tools. We have discussed what are the different types of cutting tools depending upon the construction, single point and multi point, and also the nomenclature of the cutting tool we are discussing. We have discussed about what is flank, what is face, what is base, what are the side cutting edge, what is end cutting edge, and the basic requirements of a material to be used as a cutting tool, and in the machining process various features such as single point, multi point, and also the machinability criteria we have taken and discussed so many things. And we, in continuation of the topic, we start discussing the nomenclature of the cutting tool, single point cutting tool. So this is the cutting edge, the portion or the face edge that separates the chip from the workpiece. It consists of the side cutting edge, the nose and the end cutting edge. The 3 points, the side cutting edge, the end cutting edge as well as the nose, these 3 together is called the cutting edge of a particular cutting tool. In the figure we can see here this is the side cutting edge, this is the end cutting edge, this is the nose. So these 3 edges together is called the cutting edge. In the model also we can observe the same thing. If you look at this model is representing a single point cutting tool. Here this is one of the cutting edge and this is the other cutting edge, and in between these two, this is side cutting edge, end cutting edge, and this part is called the point where these two cutting edges are coming intersecting. This is called the nose. So these 3 edges together is called the cutting edge of the cutting tool. So this cutting edge is the primary edge responsible for machining the material, for removing the material in the form of fine chips. And the next topic, what is a nose? The nose, as you have discussed just now, the cutting edge, the side cutting edge and the end cutting edge, these two will be intersecting at a point, and that point is called the nose, and the nose will be having a radius also, and that thing is called the nose radius. So the intersection of the side cutting edge and the end cutting edge, you can define and call it as a nose of the cutting tool. Next point is, we will go to the various angles in the cutting tool. We have discussed various parts of the cutting tool. Now there are number of angles in the cutting tool, and these angles will be very important for designing a cutting tool for meeting a particular machining operation. This comes under the design for cutting angles. And effect of basic tool angles on the general performance of the single tool. So designing cutting angles means where there will be number of angles, and all these angles will be ultimately affecting the final performance of a single point tool. So we will see one by one which angle and what is its relevance and what is the design criteria. The first one is the side cutting edge angle, and the angle can be defined as the angle between the side cutting edge and the side of the tool shank. It is often referred to as the lead angle also. So you have the side cutting edge and the side of the tool shank, and if you go to the picture, the figure, you can clearly understand what is the side cutting edge angle. Here this is the side cutting edge, and the angle subtended by the side cutting edge and a plane which is perpendicular to the base of the tool. So this angle, this line represents a plane which is perpendicular to the base of the tool. So this angle subtended by the cutting edge, side cutting edge, that angle is called the side cutting edge angle. And this angle is very important, and this angle is varying from 0 degrees to 90 degrees. It varies from 0 to 90 degrees depending upon the application and the type of machining method, the work material, the metal removal rate required. All these things will be deciding which angle is to be taken. That is what the designing is. Increasing SCEA. SCEA is standing for side cutting edge angle, and if you increase the side cutting edge angle from 0 up to 90 degrees, what happens? We will see. It increases the forces of right angles to the work. As the angle from 0 to 90 it is increasing, that means that 0 angle is there, the side cutting edge is becoming parallel with the side of the cutting tool. There is no side cutting edge separately from the side of the cutting tool, and that angle is the 0 side cutting edge angle. As you increase the cutting edge angle, it increases the forces of right angles to the work. As the machining is taking place, the forces, cutting forces will be acting both on the cut tool as well as the work, and these will be proportionately increasing with the angle. The other point is, if you decrease the side cutting edge angle, decreases the chip thickness and increases its width. As we increase, the cutting forces will be increasing. As we decrease the side cutting edge angle, the chip thickness is decreasing. Thickness of the chip is decreasing, and the width of the chip will be increasing. So that is the other thing happening there when you change the side cutting edge angle. And 15 degrees side cutting edge angle reduces power requirements. An angle of 15 degrees and 30 degrees is an excellent choice. We can have any angle from 0 to 90, but at 15 degrees it is practically proved that it reduces the power requirement for running the particular machining operation. So generally taken side cutting edge angles are 15 degrees and 30 degrees. These two will be increasing the efficiency of the cutting tool. That is why 15 degrees and 30 degrees is generally taken as a final choice. Then end cutting edge angle, next angle is, we have side cutting edge angle which is relevant to the side cutting edge, end cutting edge angle which is relevant or which is measured with reference to the end cutting edge. So this is the angle between the end cutting edge and a line perpendicular to the shank of the tool. You have a line perpendicular to the shank of the tool and you have an end cutting edge, and if you observe in the figure, you can clearly see what this end cutting edge is, angle is. So this edge is called end cutting edge, and if you take a plane which is perpendicular to the shank, and this plane is taken in the vertical direction, vertical plane, and what is the angle that is subtended by this end cutting edge? That angle will be measuring the end cutting edge angle. So here also end cutting edge may be 0 or it may be increasing. Here this is the side cutting edge angle, it may be 0 or it may be taken at the maximum 90 degrees. So this is the angle which is called the end cutting edge angle. So End cutting edge angle, we will discuss a little points about this angle. First of all, it prevents rubbing between the end of the tool and the workpiece. It is deliberately provided in the cutting tool in order to avoid the other end of the cutting edge, which is the end cutting edge, not to be in contact with the work while the machining is taking place. That's why it is given, prevents rubbing between the end of the tool and the workpiece. So when the machining is taking place, the tool is continuously fed into the workpiece, and there is a chance for the cutting edge to get the direct contact with the work. So when the cutting edge is given a little slope, an angle, so the tool will be penetrating into the work without being rubbed with the work material. The other point is commonly taken ECS. Common ECEA, ECEA stands for again end cutting edge angles. Common ECEAs are 8 degrees and 15 degrees. And it may vary from 4 degrees to 30 degrees, but generally taken SCE end cutting edge angles are 8 degrees and 15 degrees. They are suitable and they are proved practically as excellent choices for all single point cutting tools. And 4 degrees or less tend to cause vibration. So when you reduce the angle further, less than 4 degrees, generally it will increase the vibration, and because the gap between the end cutting edge and the workpiece is very little, and sometimes due to the unevenness in the workpiece and a little part of the cutting edge may be directly rubbing against the workpiece, it creates vibration. That's why 4 degrees or less, it is not preferred. So it may be varying between 4 to 30, and the choices are 8 degrees and 15 degrees are generally taken angles. This is the end cutting edge angle. Next angle is side relief angle. So relief angle is deliberately provided to give the flank. You know what the flank is? We will see here in the model again. This is the actual cutting part, cutting edges, these two, nose is, this is the nose, and now we go to the side of the cutting tool. This is the side of the cutting tool. So this part is the flank. Likewise, this is the side flank. Likewise, this is the end flank, because it is below the end cutting edge. So side flank, end flank. So if you observe these flanks, these two flanks are not perpendicular to the base. If you observe, this is slightly tapered into the cutting tool. So that's what it is written there. This is the angle between the portion of the side flank immediately below the cutting edge. Immediately below the cutting edge means this is the cutting edge, the below part is, this is the portion. And this portion is given some angle. Likewise, the other portion below the end cutting edge, this is the end flank, this is also given a taper or an angle. So angle between the portion of the side flank immediately below the cutting edge and a line perpendicular to the tool. So that is called as the end relief angle. We will see in the figure also. In the figure, it is clearly visible here. This view is the end view of the cutting tool. This is end view. So this is one cutting edge, this is the other cutting edge. So this cutting edge is the end cutting edge actually. This is the side cutting edge. So this part is, the nose is directly given a taper up to the base of the tool. So here in the end view, actually this is the nose, and the relief angle, side relief angle, it is the side cutting edge, and the portion which is below the side cutting edge, this is the side flank. This side flank is slightly given a taper like this, and the angle with reference to the normal to the base, this angle is called side relief angle. So when the relief is given side for the side cutting edge, it is side relief angle. So also when the relief is given for the end cutting edge, it is called end relief angles. So both these relief angles, they are provided in order to give some gap between the work and the tool again. As the cutting tool is going into the workpiece, there is a chance to workpiece to get in contact with the tool, the bottom part or the flank part. The flank part and bottom part, they are deliberately avoided rubbing against the workpiece. So this is the next relief angle, which is called the end relief angle. End relief angle, where the relief is given for the end cutting edge and the end shank. The angle between the portion of the end flank immediately below the end cutting edge and a line perpendicular to the base of the tool, measured at right angles to the end flank. So how the angle is measured, it is described here. So angle between the portion of the end flank immediately below the end cutting edge and a line perpendicular to the base. So always we have to take a perpendicular plane or a line, and with reference to the perpendicular line or plane, we will be measuring these angles, either side cutting edge or end cutting edge angle, relief angles. Everything will be taken with reference to a plane which is perpendicular to the base of the tool. So this is measured at right angles to the end flank again. This end flank is there, it is measured at right angles. So perpendicular to the flank it is measured. So that is end relief angle. It allows the tool to cut without rubbing on the workpiece. The function why we provide end relief is again to avoid a rubbing of the tool with the workpiece. In the figure we can see the end relief here. This is the front view, this is the top view of the single point cutting tool. In the front view you will get the end relief here. See, this is the actual front view of the cutting tool, and you have the cutting edges. This is one cutting edge, and this cutting edge, side cutting edge, the other side is the end cutting edge, and this will be tapered towards the bottom. So as the tool is progressively going in this direction, only the point will be in contact with the work all the time. So though it may be having some height, all the height is not allowed to cut at a time. Only a point is made for the machining, and that point is only in contact with the work, and it is removing the material in the form of a chip. So in order to avoid the other length of the edge, so it is given a taper towards the bottom portion. So this is the taper that is given. When you use it from the front view, you will get the taper there. So that's why we give it as an end relief angle. So this is the vertical perpendicular to the base, and this is the line parallel to the end shank. This is the line parallel to the end shank. This is the line perpendicular to the base, and the angle subtended between these two is called the end relief angle. So end relief angle, side relief angle, we have seen it in the end view, side view or end view we call it, and there we will get the side relief angle. So this is the end relief angle. So both the end relief angle as well as the side relief angle, these two together will be called as the relief angles. That's what here the relief angles are about. Either ERA and SRA. ERA is standing for end relief angles, and SRA is standing for side relief angles. Both these relief angles together called relief angles. So either ERA or SRA, they prevent rubbing below the cutting edge. One prevents the rubbing of the side flank, the other prevents the rubbing of the end flank. That's why these two relief angles are given. One is side relief, another is end relief. And the range, how this ERS and SRS are varying, what is the angle that is to be given. This is ranging from 5 degrees to 15 degrees from one tool to another tool. So minimum of 5 degrees relief angles either on the end cutting edge or the side cutting edge are provided, and maximum 15 degrees. Because as you go on increasing the relief angles, you can increase the relief angles. What happens? The metal that is retained on the cutting tool, cutting point, that will be reduced. When the total material available on the cutting tool is reduced, the strength also proportionally reduces. So it is, the maximum value is 15 degrees. Small relief for hard, strong materials. So when the material that is to be removed, machined is hard material, then we generally prefer only small relief, because small reliefs will give more material for the cutting edge. With the more material at the cutting point, the strength of the tool is more and it can cut hard and strong materials. And increased reliefs for lower strength materials. As the material strength or hardness is reducing, you can increase the relief angles. So likewise, the relief angles are varying: hard reliefs, hard materials, less reliefs; soft materials, high reliefs. And other angle is the clearance angle, side clearance angle. All the clearance angles, as in the case of relief angles, if it is clearance provided on the side cutting edge or side flank, it is called side clearance angle. And again in the end flank, if you provide, it is end clearance angle. Of course, clearance angles, they are not directly responsible for, they don't take any machining operation directly. They are only secondary angles. These secondary angles are deliberately provided, sometimes they may not be provided also. Still further, to increase the gap between the work and the tool, these clearances are provided. So side clearance here, side clearance angle, that's why it is called a secondary angle only, directly below the side relief angle, measured with the same reference. The same reference means, what is the reference we have taken for measuring the side relief angles? The same reference is taken for side clearance also. So below the side relief, we have a side clearance. Still further, the shank and the flank is given another angle, that is called the clearance angle. So primarily the primary clearance angle also is called the relief angles. Relief angles can also be called as primary relief clearance angles. So this side clearance is only given on the side flank, that's why it is side clearance. The secondary angle it is only. And another clearance is end clearance, the other side on the end flank. If you put the end flank is given relief, that is called end relief. Again this end relief is further given, and that is called end clearance angle. So these two are called end clearance and side clearance. So you see in the picture once again, these clearance angles, end clearance here it is given. Already relief is given here. Relief is given with reference to the end shank, we have measured the relief. Again the shank is further tapered into the body of the cutting tool, and end flank is further given tapered into the body, and this taper is called the clearance. So this is one angle, this is the primary clearance angle or relief angle. The other angle is the total angle between the flank and the perpendicular from the base, is called the end clearance angle. So likewise in the end view you will get the side clearance also. The end view will get the side clearance, how much it is given, that clearance for the side relief angle. So side relief angle, it is supported by a side clearance angle. End relief angle, it is supported by this end clearance angle. So these two are the clearance angles. Now very important angle in all single point cutting tools is the rake angle. So far we have seen the cutting edge angles, and relief angles and clearance angles. There are two cutting edges, that is side cutting edge and end cutting edge. There are two relief angles, one is side relief angle and end relief angle. And there are two clearance angles, one is side clearance angle and the second one is end clearance angle. And very primary angle which is mostly used in all designing of a single point tool is a rake angle. Again, rake angle is again divided and it can be measured in two directions. One is the back rake and the other one is the side rake. And we see what the back rake and what the side rake is. So what is a back rake angle? The angle between the face of the tool and aligned parallel with the base of the tool. The angle between the face of the tool and aligned parallel to the base of the tool. How it is measured? This is measured in a perpendicular plane through the side cutting edge. So you have to be careful understanding what the rake angle is. So it is the angle measured in a perpendicular plane through the side cutting edge. See, for knowing the rake angles, we will go directly to this model again. When you see this model, this view is called the front view, you can say, and this view is the top view, and when you view it from that side, that is called the end view. Now the back rake is visible only on the front view. So this is the angle, that is the side cutting edge is making an angle here. The side cutting edge is clearly visible again with this here in this picture also. We observe the cutting edge slowly is tapered towards the body of the tool. This is the point of the tool, and the point is slowly, cutting edge is slowly tapering backwards towards the body of the tool. So when it is tapered back, that's why it's called back rake. Tapering back is called back rake. So back rake, how it is measured? It is measured in a perpendicular plane through the side cutting edge. So this is the side cutting edge. You have to assume a perpendicular plane passing through the side cutting edge, and the angle between the face, this is the face of the tool, and the face and a line parallel with the base. So if you take a parallel line like this with the base, and you can clearly see the subtended angle between the side cutting edge and the line parallel, but this angle is to be measured in a perpendicular plane which is passing through the side cutting edge. This angle is called the back rake angle. I think you have understood it. We will see it in the figure also. We will see it in the figure and it is more visible. When we see it in the figure, what this actually back rake measures? First of all, this measures the slope of the face of the tool from the nose towards the back. You have seen that the slope is there. It is given from the nose towards the back. From the nose towards the back, the slope is given. The slope is given from the nose towards the back. So when the slope is downwards, that means from the nose when it is going towards the back, that angle is called the positive rake angle. If the slope is downward from the nose, it is positive back rake. See, the other type of back rake is if the slope is downward toward the nose, it is a negative back rake. Slope may be towards the back like this, it may be towards the nose like this also. When it is towards the back like this angle is called the positive back rake, and the nose may be, the edge may be tapering towards the nose, that is called the negative back rake angle. The other case is when the slope is not at all there, it is plane only, face is very plain, it is parallel to the base of the tool. then back rake is 0 if there is no slope at all. Likewise, back rake may be positive, it may be negative, it may be 0 also. You know what is positive back rake, what is negative back rake, what is 0 back rake. Now we see it in the figure. Here this is the back rake angle, this is the face, the line it is showing as the cutting edge, actually side cutting edge, but this side cutting edge is having the face of the cutting tool. And if you take a parallel line parallel to the base like this, so this angle subtended between these two, the side cutting edge and the base, parallel line, a line which is parallel to the base of the tool, and this angle is measured in a plane, perpendicular plane, passing through the side cutting edge. So here this is the nose and the edge is tapered downwards towards the back. This is here this figure is a positive back rake. Likewise, this may be parallel to the base, it is a 0 back rake. If the cutting edge is slanting towards the nose like this, that is a negative back rake. So either positive or negative or 0, 3 are possible, 3 may be used under 3 different circumstances. Back rake angle helps in turning the chip away from the workpiece. The main function of this back rake angle is it will be turning the chip away from the tool. It is slightly tilted downwards. As the chip is coming onto the face of the tool, it will be tilting away from the tool so that chip may be disposed very easily. It affects the direction of the chip flow also. So depending upon the angle, in what direction the chip is flowing, you can control, you can have a definite control over the chip flow also, direction. Tool life increases and cutting force is reduced by increasing back rakes. So as you increase the back rakes, back angles may be positive, negative and 0, we have seen it. And when you increase the back rakes, it is observed and practically noted that tool life is increasing. And also cutting force is also reducing, because you are getting a sharp edge cutting point there. Cutting efficiency is improving, and which is obviously improving the life of the tool. This side rake, the side rake determines the tool thickness and behind the cutting edge. The other rake is called the side rake angle, which we are going to see. This side rake determines the tool thickness behind the cutting edge. What a side rake angle, we will see it. Increasing the rake minimizes the size and effect of built up edge, cutting temperatures, cutting forces and power consumption. So always increasing the rake angles have got many advantages. It minimizes the size of the chip. It minimizes the effect of the built up edge. Size of the built up edge, it minimizes the effect of built up edge, and it minimizes the cutting temperature and cutting forces, power consumption. These are all the features which are always required in all machining operations. So always with a positive back rakes or increasing rake angles give very good results in machining. But there are some negative points also. What is the other negative good result is it gives a better surface finish. Better surface finish is obtained. High rakes make the point weak. This is the point to be discussed. If you go on increasing the back rakes or side rakes, no doubt the cutting point is getting sharper and sharper, and you will get the cutting forces minimized and you are getting the life also increases. But ultimately what happens, the tool point itself is becoming weak, more and more material is removed from the tool body, so the weakness, then overall strength is affected, and negative rakes produce stronger cutting edge. The other side, if you go for negative rake means the cutting edge or the face is slanting, tilting towards the nose. If the face is tilting towards the nose, that angle is called the negative rake. So when a negative rake is given, it produces stronger cutting edge because the material behind the cutting point is more. With more material, you will get the strength for the tool is more, and it is a stronger cutting edge capable to machine any hard materials also. So machining very hard materials such as carbide materials or ceramics, always prefer zero rakes or negative rakes also sometimes. Most effective when used with tool materials capable of high speeds. Negative rakes are capable, or they will be used only under high speed working operations. So only when the cutting operation is taking at a very rapid pace. So tools capable of withstanding that high speeds also to be taken into consideration. Under such conditions only negative rakes are prescribed. Other point is negative rakes are a necessity with carbide cutting tools. So cutting tools will be varying depending upon the material. So when carbide cutting tools are taken, it's always necessary for the tool to have a negative rake. That means the face always tilting towards the nose. Negative rake is always prescribed or preferable for carbide cutting tools. And brazed carbide tools use zero back rake, or else it varies 0 to 20. Some of the tools where the brazed tip is taken, that's all, those tools are called brazed tip tools. So whenever brazed carbide tools are taken, these brazed carbide tips, they are manufactured with zero rakes only. Zero rake means the face of the tool tip is parallel to the base of the tool. So there is no tilting for the face. It is neither positive nor a negative, a zero rake. So brazed carbide tools use zero back rakes, or else it varies. For other things, it varies from 0 to 20 degrees is the variation. Now the other rake is, as I told you, it is a side rake. Back rake is measured with reference to the side cutting edge, and the side cutting edge is taken into consideration, and a plane perpendicular passing through the side cutting edge is taken, and in that plane we have measured the side cutting edge and the line parallel to the base, and the angle subtended is the back rake. Side rake is the angle by which the face of the tool is inclined sideways. The face is inclined backwards is the back rake. The face is inclined sideways also. So you will be observing the model again, how a single point cutting tool will be. If you observe this model, see, this is the face. This face is not parallel, it is tilting towards the side. This is tilting towards the side. That's why it is called tilting towards the side. This angle is measuring the side rake angle. It's back rake angle and side rake also. Face will be tilting backwards, at the same time it is tilting sideways. So when this is the condition, this is the state, that angle is called the side rake angle, and this side rake angle is measured using a perpendicular plane through the side cutting edge and the base. You will take a side cutting edge and perpendicular, and the base is taken, and it is measured in that plane. Side cutting edge you have to take and a base is taken, and how far the plane is deviating from the parallelity of the base, that is called the side rake angle. So this side rake angle is visible, or this is measured in the end view only. Now some more points about the side rake angles. If the slope is towards the cutting edge, it is negative side rake. As in the case of back rakes also, side rake may be a positive side rake, a negative side rake. So when it is a negative side rake, if the slope is towards the cutting edge, if the slope is towards the cutting edge, I think you can understand it. The slope may be away from the cutting edge. Cutting edge means we are referring only side cutting edge. If it is away from the cutting edge or it is towards the cutting edge, if it is towards the cutting edge, the slope, that is called a negative side rake. If the cutting edge, the slope is away from the cutting edge, it is a positive side rake. Away from the cutting edge means it is sloping downwards. And the third option is, if the slope is not there, for no slope, side rake angle is 0. So, as in the case of back rakes, we have three chances here in the side rake also. Slope is towards the cutting edge, slope is away from the cutting edge, and slope is not at all available. 0 slope is 0 side rake, towards the cutting edge slope is provided, it is a negative side rake, and if the slope is away from the cutting edge, it is a positive side rake. So, what are the values we have to take? How much angle side rake and what is the base back rake we have to take? These are the parameters which constitute the designing of a cutting tool. Side rake influences the performance of the cutting tool. This is the basic angle which is very much affecting the performance of a cutting tool. Only back rake is controlling the direction of the chip flow, in which direction the chip is going to flow, the size of the chip, like that. But the performance of the cutting action is basically, it is given by the side rake angle only, because side rake is generally varied from 0 to 15 to provide the necessary shearing action. The angle of variation is 0 to 15. So, as it is varying, the shearing force required for removing the chip is generated there. And general rules, we will be going through what are the general rules for the back rakes or side rakes. For the convenience of the design, we always use positive rakes under these conditions. When means, first of all, for low strength ferrous and non-ferrous metals, we prefer positive rakes only. Rake means it may be back rake as well as side rake. Positive rakes always for low strength ferrous and non-ferrous metals. And small machines with low power. Whenever small machines are there, power is very little, then we always prefer, it is better to prefer a positive rake. Turning long shafts and small diameter. Shafts of huge lengths, but the diameter is reasonably small. So, when you machine such objects, we use only tools with positive rake angles. And machining work hardening materials. Some of the materials with some time, when it is being worked, they become hardened. Those materials are called work hardening materials. So, work hardening materials, if you want to machine, those materials also can be machined only with positive rake angles. And use negative rakes for machining high strength alloys. Some of the alloys having very hardness high and very strength and shearing required is very high. So, such alloys can be machined only with negative rakes. And for interrupted cuts and heavy feed rates also negative rakes are advisable, they are prescribed. And in the carbide oxide cutting ranges also negative rakes are generally prescribed. So, these three are the conditions for the negative rake angle and the positive rake angles. And finally, we will be discussing about the tool signature. What is a tool signature? Because we have discussed various angles starting from side cutting edge to back rake and side rake angles. Nearly there are 8 to 9 angles are there. So, it is a tool signature, an abbreviated system to specify single point tool angles. So, every angle is very important for the designing purpose. Every angle has its own effect and influence on the performance of the machining operation. So, when you take all these angles in a particular pattern, and that is called the abbreviated system, that is called, and that system, abbreviated system, is called the tool signature, and it is in a definite order also comprising 7 important elements. And what are the 7 important elements? First one is back rake, second one is side rake, third one is end relief, the fourth one is end clearance angle, the fifth one is end cutting edge angle, and sixth one is side cutting edge angle, and the last one is nose radius. And these 7 parameters if you take, and when you observe these 7 parameters and write it in a particular fashion, just like here in this fashion, 0, 7, 7, 7, 15, 15, 0, 8.8. So all these things they will be given. First of all is 0 is back rake, side rake is 7 degrees, end relief angle is 7 degrees, and side relief angle is 7 degrees. Likewise, end cutting edge angle is 15 degrees, side cutting edge angle is 15 degrees, and nose radius is 0.8 mm. So this particular order, this we call it as a tool signature, and tool signature will be there for all cutting tools, and this is the signature we have discussed only for single point cutting tool. Likewise, tool signatures are there for all cutting tools, milling cutters, individually it will be there. So this is the tool signature. So in this class we have discussed various nomenclature phenomena, various angles, starting from the side cutting edge angle to tool signature. There are so many angles: side cutting edge angle, end cutting edge angle, relief angles, clearance angles, rake angles, and when all these angles are put in a definite form, that is called a tool signature. We will continue in the next class.